So it will take some time to load it. Yeah, this is the one you need to download it. So, okay, what you do is you can do it, the downloading thing side by side. Go to Google, Prem, including you. If you have a laptop, you can do it. Okay, google.com. Here you just type download SQL Server. First, you need to download SQL Server. Click on the SQL Server downloads. Click on the SQL Server downloads. I repeat one more time. Look here. You need to type download SQL Server in the Google. And then when you click on this icon, it will show you the first link, right? When you click on the search icon, so you can get the link in the first rank. Okay. So when you click on this one, it will take you to the SQL Server website. Okay. Here you can scroll down a bit. You will find something called Express. You will find something called Express in this page. I'll just share this link to you all in the chat window. One second, it is, I press some other key mistakenly. Just give me a second. So you just go to this page, you will find something called Express. If you scroll down in this page, I just share this link here. The chat window, you can see the link. Click on this link. This one will take you to the download page, SQL Server download page. But once you go to this page, you need to scroll down. When you scroll down, you will find something like Express here. And you need to click on this download now button. So when you click on the download now button, look here. But you need to store it in some, you need to save it in some meaningful name, in the meaningful folder new, and click on the SQL Server. That's all. Okay, and okay, I already downloaded. You just save it there. Okay, that's all. Okay, let's not mix up the download installation now. Okay, that is a pretty simple. We'll see it later. Okay, so now I just go back here. Where is that? It is not at. Okay, 1 second. Okay, this is the SSMS file. Okay, once you have installed the SQL Server, you need to install SSMS. Please don't install these two things. Okay, if you mess up, gone. We will be wasting a lot of time. Just watch today's session. Okay, don't rush. So I just launched the SQL Server Management Studio. This is where we will write the SQL queries. Look here, the server type, server name, everything is already picked up automatically. We don't have to make any changes. I just click on the connect here. You don't have to make any changes. Okay, click on the connect. It will connect to the SQL Server. It got connected to SQL Server now. And if you see the left side of this one, right, you will find, just beneath this server name, you'll find something like databases. Just before the databases, you can find the plus sign here. When you click on this plus icon, it will get expanded. It will show you the databases that I created it already. Okay. And there are some database, system database, you don't touch it. If you, if you delete anything, if you make any changes, you are gone. Don't ever touch these things. So these databases I created it, but in your system, since you are installed this one recently, you will find only these two folders. Okay, now you just watch how I create a database here. We need to create a database in the MySQL server. I just click on this databases here folder and right click on it, and you will find something like new database. When you click on this, it will open up something like this. So here, just next to the database name, right? You need to type the database name. What are the database name that you want to give it? You can give it. So don't give some, meaningless name. Give some meaningful name. For example, here I just say, what else? HR. Okay, I just say retail mart, something like that. Okay. This is my database name. I next one is I just simply click on OK here at the bottom here. Okay, I just click on OK. The simple thing, right? Here in specific the database name and click on OK. The database will get created in less than 1 minute. Look here, the retail mod got created. The database, new database got created. You can see the icon here, the database icon. Okay. When you expand it, you'll find a lot of folders, subfolders, and each subfolder is relevant to each object. For examples, you have something called tables. When you expand this, you will find system tables, file tables, external tables, graph tables. Very good. So you can see everything. So you might be asking this question. I have to install SQL Server first. Only when that one get installed successfully, only then you are supposed to install SQL Server Management Studio. Okay. So in that case, can't I write the SQL queries directly in the SQL Server? You can write it, but this is the best way. Most of them they prefer SQL Server Management Studio because here writing the query, creating the tables, database are pretty simple. Okay, so that's the reason most of them they prefer this one. Okay, so now what I do is I will just show you how to load the data from my Excel file into my retail mod database. Okay, I just go to my laptop and I just go to the folder here. So in my folder, data one, dat one, I have folder called date one. So whatever the folder name that you wanted, you can create it with your, as per your preference, you can give the name. So here, what I do is I just right click on it. Okay, before that, I will just show you the file here. So let's see, I have something called NC sales. There is a file called ncsales.xls. But make sure that you're not using XLX extension. If you have a file with this extension, just open it. Open it and the file, save as, browse. So here in this place, you just open it and Excel 97 2003 .xls. This format. Okay, you need to select this one. Look here, the extension of your file got changed now, XLS. Just save it and click on continue, it will get saved. So you might be asking this one, why should I convert XLS into .xls file? The only XLS file, will be accepted. Okay, you can load only the XLS type of files. Okay, the extension of your Excel file is .xls. Only then it will be allowed to load here. But anyhow, it will not disturb your previous file. You have already the XLS file, XLSX for a file, and now you have the copy of the same file, but the extension is different, XLS. Okay, now you watch here what I'm doing. Or I'll just, no, not this file. I'm going to show you another file. ncsales.xls file is there. I'll just open it and I'll show you. So this is the data we can see it here. If you scroll down here, you will find almost 93 records are there. And I just close this one Excel file. Okay. And this file data, whatever data is there in this file, I wanted to load it into my SQL server. How can I do that? I just go here, select the database name, right click on it. Say not here. Okay. So if you right click on it, you can create the new database. Now we are not going to create a new database. Already we created a new database by the name of retail mod. Click on the new database which we created it. Right click on it. And then what you do is you have something called tasks here. In this task, you have something called import data. It is very logical, right? In the database retail mod, select the task. Under this task, you can see the import data here. You click on this one. Now we need to tell the source and destination. From, what is your source and which one is your destination, we need to tell. So here it is asking about the data source. I just click on the drop down thing here, drop down list here, and then I just select Microsoft Excel here. And then it is asking me, which folder you have. You tell me the folder name and the file name. So what I do is I just click on the browse. The dat one, I have something ncsales.xls file. Look here, I have XLS extension also. I cannot use it. If I use it, it will not work. It is throwing some error. Let us not break out right there. Look here, .xls file. You just select this, click on open. Look here, now we can see the file name along with the path name. Okay, that's all. Here you can see the default Excel version. It automatically deducts the default Excel version. And you need to hit the next button. And then it is asking about the destination. So destination is my SQL Server. And I just scroll down, SQL Server native client 1.11.0. This is the one you need to select it. When you select it, automatically you can see the server name, everything. You don't have to do anything here. And if you scroll down here, you can see the data, in which database you wanted to load this file. So look at the retail mod. And if you wanted to load it in some other thing, some other database, you click on this drop down thing and you can select the database. For example, I want to load it in supply chain management. You select the database. In that case, the NC sales file will get loaded into supply chain management database. Now I don't want to do it there. Instead, I want to load it in finance smart. Click on next. Copy data from one or more tables. That's okay. Let it click on next and just select the NC sales here. And just on the safer side, click on the edit mappings. When you click on this, you will see the column names. Supposing you don't need any specific column, you select it, and then you can probably okay, you just so look here, this is my source file, my destination. Say here what I do is I just want to change the column name, ship date. You can change it here, ship underscore date. And here if I want to change it, order date. So in the database it will get created with that, so in this name the table will get created, but it will not get created with the same column name. Instead I want to create the column for order date and ship date, with this format. Okay. And then click on OK. And next, when you click on next, run immediately. next, and then finish it. So it will show you success. Look here, I can see that 92 rows got loaded. Okay, NC sales got loaded, success. Okay, you click on it, it will show you the status. Now we will go to the database and we will see here. We will have to check here whether that Excel file got loaded into this file, into this database or not. So here, when I click on the tables under this retail mart, I don't see any table here. So you need to click the refresh icon here. When you click on it, when table, still I don't see that. I just click it one more time. Okay, let me redo it one more time. I think some problem happened. It's not showing anything there. I think I wrongly selected some other database. Okay, it's just select the one more time. Let's redo it. Okay, and here, yes, Prem Kumar, you have any question? So here, nc sales.xls file. So this is the path and file name. Next, and then I'm going to select, oh, the target, I selected correctly, right? Retail mart. Okay, okay, retail mart. I'm in retail mart only. Oh, I saved in finance mart, right? Oh, sorry, not retail mart. Okay, okay, okay. So I should have stored it in retail mart. Okay, okay, good, good. Yeah, retail mart only I selected it, right? No, yeah. So anyhow, we will try it out one more time. The same steps, but okay, okay. Maybe I change the database name, right? To show you how to change the database. Here, I don't do anything. Let me see. Finish. Yeah, I can see. In case of failure, it will show here itself. Look here, retail mart. I expand it, and then I click on the refresh button. And when I click on the tables, when you expand the tables, yeah, you will find this one here. Okay, and you said finance smart, right? Where is that finance smart? Oh, okay, I created finance smart also already. Yeah, I loaded. You are correct, right? So okay, so retail mart database. I loaded my this file got loaded now. Now you just want to see the data that got loaded into this table. Right click on it. Select top 1,000 rows. Look here. It shows all the records or the data that are stored in this table, right? So in the Excel file, all the records got loaded successfully into this file. So here, now you understood how user-friendly, developer-friendly this SSMS tool is all about, right? You just right-click on it, click on the top 1,000 rows. That's all. You don't have to write this query. This query got generated automatically. For example, here I don't need some columns. I don't need, for example, profit and discount. I don't need. You remove these columns. Or if you want to see only the sales amount and order number, right? That's all. If you want to see only the location key, in which location, how much we sold, you just remove the columns and select it, and you will find something like execute button here. Okay, and you just click on this execute. Look here, only for these columns, product ID, customer ID. So product ID, customer location key, quantity sales, we can see that, right? So we are able to subset the columns. We don't want to see all the columns data, but the beauty of this tool is just point and click it. Just click on it and right click on it and click on it. Generate the query automatically. You can go and remove the columns which you don't need it. If you want to have some other columns, right? So for example, if you press Control C, it will be undone. If you click on execute, all the columns, right, till sales amount, it will fetch the data from the table. Now we understood with retail mart, sorry, with SSMS, it is so simple to load the data from Excel into SQL Server database, and also querying the table also very simple. It's all, just select the table name, right click on it, just point and click. With that, you can do it. So it is that much simple. Okay, anyhow, we have a separate session for SQL Server after completion of Power BI desktop. I'll show you how to write SQL queries and this one later point in time. At this moment, just how to connect to SQL Server, how to load the data into SQL Server from your Excel file, and how to connect to SQL Server from your Power BI desktop, and how to load the data from your SQL Server into your Power BI desktop. Now we will see how we can load this file. Okay, before that, I just want to rename this table. I just selected, I just clicked on it. That's all, right? Now it got changed. Or else right click on this table name and you have something called rename option. I just give some meaningful name. Sales fact. That's all. So DBO stands for database owner dot sales fact. You can ignore this at this moment. So sales fact is the table name. So now what I do is I just go to the Power BI desktop and see if I can, load this table from SQL Server into Power BI desktop. So here in the get data icon, if you click on the get data icon, you will find something called SQL Server. This is a connector, import data from SQL Server database. If you click on this, it will ask you the SQL Server name. The first field, it expects you to enter the server name. What is server? This is my server name. So what I do is I just click on the connect again and I just go ahead and copy this and cancel it. I go back here, specify the server name. That's all. Here it is optional. So we know very well, we have created a database by the name of Retail Mart. Right, Pray? Yes, Retail Mart. I just type the database name, but it is optional. But if you specify it, it is always good because it will go and fetch only this database related objects. See, by default, it is a import connectivity. Okay, now it shows direct query. Okay, so I don't know whether in the new version, let me just check it one more time. In the new version, I think they made some changes. Get data and SQL Server. When I click on the SQL Server, yeah, so by default, it's a direct query in the case of new version of, see, earlier version of the Microsoft Power BI, the default connectivity mode is import. There are two types of connectivity mode. One is import, other one is direct query. Here, Retail Mart is my database. So which means I'm telling the Power BI, hey, connect to this SQL server, and in this SQL server, you need to connect to this database. If I say, if I select import mode here, and if I can click on OK here, remember that I selected import connectivity mode while connecting to the SQL server. Okay. When I click on this, so this is a database. This is the table we created, right? Just now, Prem Kumar. So sales fact. This is the one I created. Look here. Now I can see the SQL Server table sales fact, which was available under Retail Mart database. So on the right side, I can see the preview of this table's data here. In the preview, it will show only a list number of records. And when I click on load, it gets loaded here. Since I have used the import connectivity mode while connecting to the database, the Retail Mart database, the entire table data, the sales fact data will get loaded into my Power BI desktop, which means the entire data will get downloaded and loaded into my Power BI desktop. It is pretty fast. I just click on it here. What is the file name? The table name is sales fact 2. Since I already loaded this table, sales fact, when I tried to load the same table again, but this table I imported it from some other database, and this one I imported it from retail mart. Though I imported these two tables, the same tables from two different databases, it still consider it gives different naming convention. Sales fact 2. Okay, if I wanted to see the data of this one, when I click on this, I can data view. It takes me here, and if you see here, where is the sales fact 2? If I click on this, I can see the data here. It got loaded successfully here. So now you understood how to connect to SQL Server, how to load the data from Excel file into SQL Server, and then first you learned about how to create a database in SQL Server and how to load the data from your Excel file into the newly created database. And then you learned how to rename the table name. Okay, and then from Power BI Desktop, how we can connect to SQL Server, the retail mart database, which we created recently, and then how to import the table sales fact into my Power BI Desktop. Got it? Very simple. And now we will go to the model view and we will see whether the sales fact, yes, look here, the sales fact 2, recently which I imported it here, I can see it here. I can see it, but now one more thing, what you can notice here, this sales fact 2 table, and this table and other table got linked with some line here. When you hover the cursor here, you can see in both the tables location key column got highlighted. This column is common for these two tables. Since location key is common for these two tables, it created the link between these two. This is called your relationship. As part of the data model design, you need to create the link between the tables, the relationship between the tables. There are different types of relationship, which we will discuss it as we move further. Okay, so when I cover the separate session called data modeling, that time you will be learning. Got it? So now we will see how we can create a visual. Same step. For example, I'm going to create donut chart. It is a visual. Don't worry, what donut chart under will be covered later. The moment when I click the donut chart, it got moved automatically to the report canvas window, and then it got created with some dummy data. Look here in the sales fact 2. This is the one we loaded it recently. And what I do is I just sales amount, I just drag and drop it here. Let me see if I have created, no, right? Okay, with the product ID, I don't have any other column. Look here. So, for each product, how much sales we made it, we can see it here. But instead, better let me, use the tree map because it's so cluttered. Tree map, it will not get cluttered like the donut chart. Look here. But the size of each rectangle will be, is small in this case. The each size, it tells us the volume of the data. Okay, the smaller the size, lesser the sales. So anyhow, you don't worry about the visual. Now you understood how to connect to SQL Server, how to load the data into SQL Server, how to connect to SQL Server, right? All the things you learned it. Okay, next one is okay. Next, what I do is I just go to this thing, a sales fact. I will just delete this from my model. Deleted from this, right? So deleted from this model. Next, what I do is I just connect to the SQL Server again. Okay, here I see the same database, three-tile mart, and I will go ahead with the direct query, the default mode. Okay, so earlier I have used the import connectivity mode. Now I'm going to use the direct query mode. I just click on OK here. And I select the sales fact here and load it here. This sales fact too, I have loaded into my Power BI desktop from the SQL server using import connectivity mode. Now the same sales fact table from SQL server, I load it into my Power BI desktop using direct query. But in the case of direct query, for example, look here, this is the sales fact. And look here, if I go to my model view, and if you go and see the sales fact which I loaded recently, you need to look at the right side. So what is the difference between these two tables? This one I imported it using the loaded, this table I loaded into my Power BI desktop using import connectivity mode. This one for this table I have used the direct connectivity mode. The difference is the blue color line. So you can see this on top of this table, the blue color line is there, which means this table we have connected with the direct connectivity mode, which means the data, the entire data of this file will not get loaded into my Power BI desktop. Only the metadata got loaded here. Metadata in the sense the structure of the table name, column names, that's all. Okay, the data is still remain in my SQL server itself. To verify that, I'll just go to the data view and I will select sales fact. You can see that very much here. This table uses direct query and cannot be shown. Hence, the data is, since the data is not loaded here, it is not visible here. Okay, can I create a visual? Yes, you can create a visual. For example, here what I do is I just go and remove these columns. Instead, what I do is I go to the sales fact. So here only the metadata got loaded. Metadata in the sense just structure, data about data, just structure of the table name, column names only loaded. But so when you select any column, right, it will send a query to your source SQL server, and then that query will get executed. The output of that will be sent back to your Power BI desktop visual. For example, when I select the sales amount and drop it here, a query will be generated at the back end, right? So, and then when I drop the product ID, for these two column, right? So for these two column, the query will be generated, and this one will be sent to my SQL server, and then from the SQL server, the query will get executed, and the output of that will get displayed here. See, it is so fast. We do not know what is happening behind the scene. Behind the scene, that this is what is happening. But here you have three dots here just above the visual. This is called ellipses. When you click on the ellipses, you have an option called like show as table. When you click on it, you can see the data here. For each product, how much sales we made, we can see it here. Got it? So hope you understood, how to connect to SQL Server using import mode and direct connectivity mode. But when you load Excel file or CSV file, you will not have direct connectivity mode because it is a flat file. It's a CSV file, Excel file. So, right. So, see, in the case of SQL Server, it will generate a query in your Power BI desktop, and then it will send the query to your SQL Server. The query will get executed in your SQL Server. But in the case of Excel, it is not a server, right? SQL is not a server. So nothing to get executed in the source system. When it comes to flat files, it has to get loaded into your Power BI desktop. That's all. The other option is you can load the Excel data into SQL Server, and then you can use direct connectivity mode. Okay, give me a second. I will just stop the recording.